Hey y'all, it's me, Shoti again. I'm doing this rap for my friends and all the girls out there who feels this way because I just adore the world and I've been through some of this before. So I'm just all the girls and my name. This is called Fairy Tale. It's a rap. When I grow up to be a little girl, fairy tales to come true, 'cause I'm daddy's little girl. Butterfly kisses and one sweet prince too, but we'll always treasure life little moments too. But I always still think about living life like there's no tomorrow. If you look inside a girl, you will see how much she really cries, and you will find so many secrets and lots of lies. But you'll see the most is how hard it is to stay strong. Nothing is right and everything is wrong, but it doesn't matter anymore. I guess things happen for a reason. Tears eventually fade, and one day everything will be exactly how it's supposed to be. Besides, moving on is the process, and plus you gotta promise yourself you're really ready to let go, because life moves with or without you. That's why every girl wants to believe in that one fairy tale. But it don't work like that, you see. Yeah, we all dream of that one guy who swept us off our feet and off the ground and said we were the cutest thing, made us feel like we were the best thing that fell from the sky. But it's alright, yeah, as soon as we realize that it's just a dream and we open our eyes and life is not what it seems.